Hi friends, welcome to Sabrina Knits. This is my knitting podcast where I talk all about the things that I'm knitting that are bringing me joy. My name is Savannah and I live in Utah in the United States, where I'm a stay-at-home mom and I love to knit and read. And my question of the day for you is, what is the last project that you finished? As always, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Savan Knits. Feel free to also send me an email at savannaknits@gmail.com if you have any comments or questions or anything like that. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe if you would like. Give it a like, whatever you want to do. I really appreciate it. And also welcome to all the new faces around here. I am very glad to have you. So let's just get right into it. You can tell that I'm wearing a finished object. This is my Contrariwise Shawl. This is by Perfectly Knotted or Claire Jackson. It is a kite-shaped shawl, I think. This was my first shawl, so I'm not familiar with different types of shawls or constructions or designs. This is totally new to me, but I think that I heard that she called this a kite-shaped shawl. It is a shawl that is made with DK weight yarn, 4.5 millimeter needles, and it has waffle stitch throughout the shawl. I used Yarnaceous Fibers Bronto DK in the Rose City mini set. She made this mini set for a doodle cowl pattern, but I decided to use it for this shawl. And the shawl is really cool because Claire Jackson designed it so that it could be used for an advent. So you could fade the colors. You can use up to 24 colors. I'm sure you could even do more than that as well if you wanted to figure out how often to fade them in. My set came with 8 colors, and so I decided to stripe the colors instead of fade them in. And I really like how that looked. I really like the clean looking stripe lines there. It was also just way easier to stripe them than to fade them. But Claire does have a page at the back of the pattern that tells you exactly which rows to fade when, if you're doing a 24 color fade. And so I kind of used that template, but only did 8 colors. So if you also decide to make this shawl with 8 colors, I do have the rows in which I switched colors. If that's helpful for you, they're on my Ravelry in the notes section. With this shawl, my gauge was also a little bit bigger than what it should have been, but I had to start over the shawl so many times. It's just a little bit of a fiddly beginning, and I'm sure that that's just how shawls are started. It is so that there's a clean kind of triangle right here with the I-cord, and it just took me a couple tries to get it right. And so I didn't want to start again after I realized that my gauge was bigger. But I also did want it to be a little bit bigger because I had 10 grams less than the pattern recommends. She recommends 410 grams and I had 400 grams of this mini set. So I knew if my gauge was bigger, then I would be using less yarn, so I would have enough. And to be honest, I think I went a little bit too big because I did have at least 8 grams left of each 50 gram color. So I did have quite a bit left, but that's okay. I will find another project to use them, and that's not a problem. And I am happy with the size that I got. I did block this after it was done. I debated not blocking it because I knew that with this being a superwash merino nylon yarn, it would grow a lot, and the waffle stitch as well. I was assuming that that would also grow. But to be honest, when I blocked it, it didn't grow a ton. I didn't do any before and after measurements because it is a shawl, and honestly, I don't know how much I'm going to wear it as a scarf. It's going to mostly just be a throw it over my shoulders when I'm reading type of a thing. But So I didn't really super care about the size, if it was going to be too big, but I wanted to block it anyways so that I could open up that waffle stitch. There was also some with the I-cord going along a diagonal edge. Sometimes the I-cord felt a bit tight, and Claire also has instructions for how to make that I-cord less tight. But you know, sometimes it just, my tension was off on places around the I-cord, and so I knew that blocking would help that out a lot. So I'm really glad that I did block it, and it didn't grow a lot. I'm really happy with how it looks and feels and drapes. I'm really happy with the fabric. However, I'm not sure, I still haven't measured it. I don't really care to. So I'm not sure how my finished shawl compares to the original Contrariwise shawl. From pictures, it looks about similar, especially when I'm holding it open. But yeah, just keep that in mind that I kind of just did my own thing on this shawl. And when I saw the yarn at the fiber festival that I went to a couple weeks ago, it was one of those things that just sparked joy immediately. I knew I had to have it, and I knew I wanted to make it into a beautiful shawl. And with this project, I really wanted joy to be part of every single part of this project. I found joy in the yarn, I found joy in winding it up, I found joy in making it, in that I was striping and not fading, and the waffle stitch was really fun to do. So all in all, it just was a very joyful project, and I'm really, really happy with the end result. So that was my one goal, and I achieved it. It was also a wonderfully engaging project. It hit the perfect sweet spot of being engaging, but not totally difficult. It is a 12-row repeat because of the increasing and the waffle stitch. And so I did have to have my pattern near me, and some other people on Ravelry said that they were able to memorize the pattern. I feel like at the end I knew what was coming, but I still had to double check my pattern on every row. So I wouldn't call that memorizing per se, but I enjoyed the engaging part of it, and I do like my knits to be engaging sometimes, well, most of the time actually. So it just hit that perfect balance. And with the shawl getting bigger and bigger, obviously there's more in between, like there's larger portions of just the waffle stitch when you're increasing, you know, at the beginning and ends of the rows. So there were lots of periods of just straight waffle stitch, that part is easy to memorize. So still, I feel like that also attributed to the good balance of being an engaging but not super difficult knit. So with the waffle stitch being part of the shawl, it is just so squishy, and the yarn is so soft. It's one of the softest superwash hand-dyed yarns I've ever felt. I absolutely loved working with it, and I would definitely buy from Yarnaceous Fibers in the future because one, she's a dyer from Utah where I'm living, so of course it would be lovely to support her more, but also it is so soft and so plump, and I'm just really, really enjoying the fabric that I get from her yarn. So that was also when I knit this shawl so fast. So fast. I started it on April 29th and finished it on May 10th. So it took me 12 days, which is really insane, but also I worked on it nonstop every single day. My boys had their tonsils out, so we were just watching a lot of movies, and they were just out for the count for at least a week, probably a week and a half. So I was able to get a lot of knitting done, and I flew through this. It was very fun. And I think also with it being striped, you just want to get to that next stripe. So that also helped me stay motivated to work on this as much as I did for those 10 days. All in all, I love this project so, so much. I have already worn it a lot while reading, and when I'm not reading, it just rests on my reading chair, over the back of my reading chair, and it looks beautiful. It looks like a beautiful throw on my chair, so it doubles as both a shawl that I can wear, kind of a scarf, but also a home decor item. So absolutely love it. I already am thinking about another shawl that I want to make. I don't have a pattern in mind, but I love the process of knitting this so much, and I'm surprised at how much I'm using it and kind of just using it as a blanket too. So I can definitely see myself making more shawls in the future. So I thought I would only have one finished object for this video. I thought it would just be this, but yesterday I managed to finish my socks. So these are what I am calling my love story socks, because this colorway is called Love Story, and it's from Ruby and Roses and her soft rose base, which is this yellow with some speckling. I think it's beautiful. There was some pooling in both pairs actually, mostly with this gray section right here, and then in this sock it kind of did have some like striping going on, but I don't think it's super noticeable. It doesn't bother me. There's some more kind of pooling there. I've already worn these today. I wore these to the park and they were so cozy, and also just very happy to look down at my feet and see some bright yellow. Love that. These were my Easter cast on, so that was also fun to work them up in the springtime. Perfect color for spring. I did just a basic sock, 64 stitch cast on. I did 14 rows for the cuff of 2x1 ribbing. I did a 5-inch leg, heel flap and gusset, and then just a normal foot. Yeah, I have decided that Ruby and Roses is my favorite hand dyer for sock yarn, because her yarn is an 85-15 merino nylon blend, and it doesn't feel as buttery soft as other superwash yarns that I've tried. It has kind of a woolly, more woolly texture to it, which I don't often feel in superwash yarns. So I really enjoy that aspect, and I really like how plump the yarn feels. It doesn't feel super thin and dry. It just feels really good when I'm knitting with it and with the finished object. I find that I get a good fitting sock when I do 64 stitches. However, I do feel like I want to experiment with going down to 60 stitches for a sock, because even with this, I feel like it's still a tiny bit too big. But I think as I put these in my washing machine and dry them, I just wash my socks like normal with all of my other clothes, and then they do tend to shrink down to a good fitting sock, so that's not a problem either. I started these on April 16th and finished them on May 15th, so it took me almost a month to make these, and to be honest, I think I might take a little bit of a break from socks. I think I need to try something different, but I'm sure I will come back to socks as the weather gets warmer, because they are the perfect portable project for when it's super hot and I just want to knit while my boys are playing at the park, or knit inside while they're playing, knit in the car, things like that. So yeah, those are the Love Story socks. I'm so excited. I have a new cast on to show you. I casted on the Sabrina V-Neck. This is by Tamara Jordan or Starcross Knits. I've been wanting to make this pattern ever since it came out. I have also made something else by Tamara Jordan before. I made her Tied and True cardigan, and I love how that one fits me so well. It fits me like a glove, and I really love wearing it when I'm wearing a dress. So I know that I do like her patterns, and I find that her attention to fit is phenomenal, and so I wanted to try this pattern by her, the Sabrina V-Neck. This pattern is cool because she has so many options. She has a long sleeve version that I think the sleeves are flared at the bottom. She has a short sleeve version, and then she has a tank version, and she also has an option to add a little I-cord bow at the front if you want to do that. She also has so many options for shaping. She has bust increasing, she has how to put in bust darts, and also waist decreases, hip increases, just how to make the perfect fitting top for you. Now, that being said, I feel like I'm not exactly going to be taking advantage of a lot of those things. I don't think I need the bust darts, and I also don't plan on doing any of the waist shaping, and I'm trying to decide if I want to do the hip shaping, but I really just like a boxy fit on my tees, and so I might just knit straight down. But the top part of this V-neck I think is going to fit really well, because that's just Tamara's talent in knitwear design, is just that perfect fit. So I am making a size 4, which is supposed to give me 1 inch of negative ease, but I'm using superwash yarn. My gauge is also a little bit tighter. It's 22 stitches per inch, or per 4 inches instead of 21. But I know with superwash yarn, it grows a lot, and I want a little bit of neutral to 1 inch of positive ease, and I know that I can get that with blocking. And whenever I knit with superwash yarn, which is usually in tees because it's just cheaper to knit tees in a hand-dyed superwash yarn than a whole sweater, I usually size down, and then with blocking it grows, and then it fits me perfectly. So I know this from other tees that I've made in the past, so I'm confident that the size 4 will work for me. I am using 4mm needles, and I am using Treehouse Knits, their Dove DK in the color In Bloom, which is this really pretty pink and purple and white color. I've been saving this yarn for so long. I think it's been almost a year since I ordered it, and I knew that I wanted to make this pattern, but I wanted to wait until the spring to knit it. And I am alternating skeins, although I don't know if I really need to with this, because the yarn really seems to be dyed very well. I don't think there would be any pooling with this yarn that I can tell, but I'd rather alternate skeins to be safe, and I really don't mind alternating skeins. I kind of think it's fun. Again, I really like my knits to be engaging, so I don't mind alternating skeins. Also, I'm proud of myself because today I got to join in the round, so it's going to be a lot easier to show this now that I've joined in the round. So here's what I have so far. Obviously looks like a V-neck. So with this, you cast on stitches for the back, and then you do short row shaping for these shoulder caps, and then just knit the back panel, pick up stitches for the front panels, and work some increased shaping to shape the V-neck and also the underarm. Then you just join in the round. And then you have options to add some bust increases, and then also some short rows under the bust to make the front longer if you need that. Again, I don't think I'm going to do any of that. I think I'm just going to knit straight down from here. Of course, I'll try it on as I go, and maybe I'll decide. But with my last tee that I made, which was the Luna tee by Carissa, she also had options for waist shaping and hip shaping. I have just been knitting a lot of fitted tees apparently, but with that Luna tee, I just knit straight down, and I feel like that style fits me the best. I mean, I don't have like a tiny waist compared to my bust size, so I feel like it would just not look flattering on me anyways. And so I think I'm just happy with knitting straight down, which is also very easy knitting. I can just cruise, alternate my skeins, knit down this V-neck. What's cool about this V-neck is that there are folded over hems on the body and then on the sleeves, and then there is, I think, an I-cord edging around the neckline, so I think those will look really nice, really clean. I don't think I've ever done a folded over hem before, so I'm excited to learn that new technique and see how it goes for me. I'm also thinking that once I run out of maybe one of the balls on this, which is coming up quite soon, I only have this much left of one of mine, I might go back and do the sleeves and the I-cord, just because I am not sure about my yarn quantity. There's no way to get more of this yarn. I am pretty sure that I have enough, but with this pattern, she holds knitting for olive silk double, and so she only has the quantities for that held double, so a fingering weight held double, and I'm using a DK weight, and she doesn't have yarn quantities for a DK weight. There is another project in Ravelry that use just a DK weight, and they knit a size 5, so one size above me, and they used about the same yarn that I have. So I think I should be good knitting the smaller size with this yarn, but I'm still a little bit nervous, especially because my gauge is a little bit tighter. I'm not doing any of the waist decreasing or anything like that. I also like my sleeves to be a little bit longer and the body to be longer. I don't want it as cropped. So I'm really going to have to pay attention to my yarn quantities as I'm going along. So that's why I'm thinking to do the sleeves and the I-cord edging, and then I can just make the body as long as I can, because I would rather have the sleeves be to a length that I like and have the body a little bit more cropped than having to crop the sleeves a lot. Then I know I wouldn't wear the tee as often. So that's what I'm thinking for that. I am also just really enjoying how this yarn is working up. It's blowing out a little bit, but it just looks so beautiful with the pink and the purple and the cream. Yeah, I think it will look really good. It'll just be a very fun, colorful summer tee, which is what I want, because a lot of my tees that I have that aren't knitted, just my t-shirts, are all like dark grays, and so I need some color in my knitted tee wardrobe. So yeah, that is my Sabrina V-neck. I started it on May 11th, so I've been working on it for 6 days. That's really all the whips I have to show you. I'm still working on a blanket whip, but there's nothing really new to show. I've just added more inches to it. So I think I'll update you on the next podcast about that blanket. You can feel free to follow me on Instagram. I definitely update more on there if you're interested. But yeah, I need to cast on something soon because I finished those Love Story socks, and so I need another portable project. The blanket is getting a little bit bigger, so it's not as portable. So I'm thinking of doing a muscle burrow, and I did do a poll in my stories to ask what people were interested in. So it's either muscle burrow or helical knitting socks that Earth Tones girl just released a tutorial for. And again, love helical knitting, and I think it would be so fun to do it in a sock and striping. So there's that option. I also was thinking about my doing a Jacques scarf by Laura Penrose, and then also thinking of just starting another pair of basic socks, but I'm feeling a little bit burnt out from basic socks. So it's really down to those 3 of the helical knitting socks, the muscle burrow, and the Jacques scarf. So if you have a strong opinion on what I should cast next, definitely comment below. I think I'll be casting on something this weekend, so it would be good to decide that sooner rather than later. I do have one acquisition to show you. So remember when I went to the Fiber Festival and I really wanted some pink speckled yarn? I didn't find pink speckled yarn. I found another pink yarn that I really liked that I'm going to be casting on for a Lusk tee by the Crayabea whenever that comes out. If any of you, I know there's some testers of the Lusk tee that have watched my videos before because you've commented. If you know when that tee is coming out, will you please tell me, because I really would like to cast on that tee as soon as it comes out. Just kind of follow the hype and the rush of getting the pattern and immediately casting on, but I really want to finish my Sabrina V-neck before that happens. So if you know when the Lusk tee is supposed to come out, please comment and let me know. But I still couldn't get a pink speckly yarn out of my head. And I was keeping my eyes open, I think on Instagram and YouTube, and just trying to find some. I was still just subconsciously and consciously looking for a pink speckled yarn that I really liked, because I can't let go of this dream that I have of a very beautiful pink speckled tee. And I can't remember how I found this. I want to say it's on Instagram, but I found the perfect yarn. I'm very excited. This is from Woolly Mama Yarns from the UK, I believe. And this is the color Darling. So it's this pale pink, and it is like a pale pink and a pale white, but then it has these purple and green speckles in it. And I love purple and green, and I love light pink. So it's just the perfect tee, and I think it will look really good when it is knitted out. Obviously, I will be alternating skeins as well to make sure that the speckling is distributed as evenly as I can control. But this is a fingering weight 75-25 merino nylon blend, just your regular yarn. It isn't super soft either, so I think it will be great for a garment. And I think with this yarn, I really want to make the Avenue tee by Tori Yu. This is a tee that just came out recently. It's fingering weight. It has options for a crew neck and a v-neck style, and I'm really liking the v-neck, just like a higher v-neck, but I do need to decide. So that's what I'm thinking for this. But yeah, very excited to cast this on. I think this will be, so I want to cast on the Lusk tee next, and then I think the Avenue tee will be after that. So I found my perfect pink speckled yarn. Very happy about it. Before we head out, let's do a quick reading and watching update if you're interested. I have been reading some pretty good books. The first one, I think I'm just gonna touch on the highlights again. The first one was All the Colors of the Dark. This was one from my book club. It's a very interesting mystery. I don't read a lot of mysteries, but this one was set in the 70s all the way to the 90s, and I really enjoyed it. It really drew me in with its super short chapters, jumping around in the timeline a little bit. But yeah, I found that it was really quite good. I was surprised because that's not normally my genre of choice. I also read The Many Lives of Mama Love. This one was a fantastic audiobook if you enjoy listening to audiobooks while you knit. This is about a woman. It's her memoir. She was addicted to heroin and made some bad decisions, ended up in jail, and just about how she turned her life around from there, and the struggles of the judiciary system, and you know, just how these people that make some bad choices and end up in jail really have to struggle to turn their life around. And it was just a very powerful story and a great audiobook. The third one that I read was The Silver Elite, and this book was so much fun. It was basically an adult version of Divergent, so it had those nostalgic dystopian vibes, had the romance, it had the quick action sequences, the plot was very fast-paced for me, had the training school. It just had everything that you love and enjoy in a dystopian romance. So I highly recommend that if you love Divergent or if you love romantasy in general. I think you would enjoy it. And then the last one is The Scarlet Veil. I reread this so I could read the second book that just came out. It is a YA paranormal fantasy, and I absolutely love it. It's spooky, it's got ghosts, it's got vampires, it's got a mystery, it's got a haunted house. It's just perfect. I'm kind of reading it in the wrong season with it being spring, but I enjoyed it nevertheless, and I'm enjoying the second book as well. As for watching, I've just been watching Andor season 2. Oh my goodness, ripped my heart out. Such a masterpiece of storytelling and cinematography. I cannot believe how amazing they did on this series. The best Star Wars series ever. I think the ratings also agree. It has the highest ratings of any Star Wars series that has come out, and wow, it just added so much background information and impact to the movie Rogue One. And me and my husband watched Rogue One last night, and just the whole perfect package of watching season 1, season 2, and then Rogue One within the last couple months. It's just masterpiece of a story. I am so incredibly grateful to live at this time when films are coming out like this, and movies and series, and I just feel so inspired by wonderful storytelling, beautiful cinematography, really raw and gutting details. It's phenomenal. If you're an Andor fan too, let me know. We can gush about it together. But I think that's it for today. If you've made it this far, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are the best. I hope you guys are knitting what is bringing you joy, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, guys.